Okay, time for us to look at something that's on two wheels, and yes, it is a wonder. Introducing the Suzuki GSX-S1000. According to the people at Suzuki, this is one of the most technologically advanced bike that they have produced, and we are going to see how much does technology have to play in this bike that they are saying is awesome. Now, the thing with this bike is that, according to the rules of big bike study, a big bike with 1000cc should feel big. But this bike does not feel big. And that is the thing that surprised me first when I got on this bike, because it actually feels rather compact. Now, yes, you might think visually that this tank is very imposing and it's very big, but the way that they have sculpted the sides of the tank as well as the rest of the flank of the bike, it actually gives you this sensation that you are riding something much narrower, meaning if you really clip your legs together, you are in a very, very nice and nimble position. But you know what, I just wanted to say about talk about the first thing that really hit me when I first got on the bike. Well, the frame of this bike has been designed and constructed using very advanced space age lightweight aluminum alloys that really allows it to be extremely rigid, but at the same time very lightweight. So when it is lightweight and yet it is rigid, you know that this bike is not going to flex so much. So when you do push it to the limits, it's going to stay intact, and you're going to have a lot of confidence that the bike is holding itself really well. Now, on top of that, paired with the suspensions both up front and at the back, we've got a pair of KYB forks up front, by the way. So when you pair it with those bits, you know that this bike is really going to be holding itself together very well. Now, stopping power, you've got double discs up front with Brembo calipers and also a single disc at the back, and the discs are about 310mm, and you've got 32mm calipers for the front. And this really means that when you squeeze this lever over here, it really is going to stop the bike in next to no time at all. The fact that this bike comes with ABS as standard right here in Malaysia really does add to the whole safety proposition, and that's something that I'm sure a lot of bikers would appreciate. Look at this, this wet tarmac area, and you'll know that ABS is essential for Malaysian roads, especially if you've got a lot of power. The GSX-S1000 comes in two variants. One is this naked bike look, and of course the other one is the one with a fairing. Personally, I prefer the one with the naked look, because I think it just looks that much better. There are a lot of options that you can go for with this bike, but the standard kit is pretty impressive. This clocks that you have in front of you tells you a lot of things. It gives you the revs and the speedo, and also it's got this unique bar that says TC, and that's traction control. Now, that is the other thing that is very advanced with this bike, which is the traction control system. You've got three modes to choose from. You can either disengage it entirely, or you can go for three different settings for traction control. On top of that, in terms of comfort, check this out. Seat height's only 815mm. So this bike's not very tall, and it's very comfortable for riders with average height to get on the bike, because I've got both my feet planted very firmly on the ground, and yeah, again, it's yet another confidence-giving factor. You've got a pillion seat here, but of course you can change that to sports covers, and generally speaking, the bike is very well put together. It is, of course, to the exacting CBU standards of Suzuki, and the build quality and the fit and finish is really good, including this fat bar from rental that comes as standard with the bike as well. And now, time for us to go for a spin. Alright, let's have a chat about this bike now, shall we? Well, now I want to talk a little bit about this power unit that we have over here. Now, it's not really a brand new power unit. It's actually a revised version of a tried, tested and proven power unit from the GSX-R, of course. Now, what we have here is a 999cc liquid-cooled 4-stroke engine that puts out about 145 brake horsepower. Yes, it is not the most astronomical figures as far as one litre bikes go, but it's okay for this application. The red line comes at about 11,500 RPM, which is a tad lower than the previously tuned engine. However, anything above 7,000 RPM just makes this bike go whoosh, and I mean whoosh in a very positive way. Now, on top of all that, the good performance of the bike is also down to the fact that this bike is down in weight. It only weighs about 209 kilograms. So it's for a 1 liter bike, you know, again, that may sound like a big number, but for a 1 liter bike, that's okay, because the power of the engine displaces that weight, and you will find that the added weight afforded by this bike actually gives you more sense of stability. Pair that with the fat tires up front and out back, you will find yourself sticking to the ground a lot more, giving you a lot of traction, and that's very, very usable traction as well. If you had to use this bike as a daily rider, yes you can, because it is a very easy bike to work with. The shifting is very, very softly sprung, and it's very smooth. The 6-speed gearbox is creamy, and it does give you a lot of comfort shifting. You're not gonna be kicked into gear as harshly as you might think you might be, which is all good, seriously. Well, to be honest with you, a lot is riding on this bike as far as Suzuki is concerned, because they really have to put up a fight to the other boys in the market that is producing liter bikes or liter powered bikes that has this naked look. For example, you've got the FZ1 Yamaha, and also the Kawasaki Z1000, and of course you've got the Honda equivalent as well. So a lot really is riding on this bike and the way it performs, and I'm very happy to note that the build quality of the bike is definitely something we should shout about, because it is very well put together. The performance and the power delivery of the bike may not be the best in class, but seriously, it's okay. It does its job fairly well, and you will be rewarded with a good ride when you do want it. But most importantly, it is a bike that you can live with on a daily basis, and it is not one of those bikes where you will keep at home and only use it during the weekends, because this bike you can use on a daily basis. It is that easy to use, both on the weekdays on your daily commute, as well as when you want to have a lot of, or rather some fun on the tracks or on the twisties when the weekends come. Stay tuned, we've got a lot more stuff coming your way on In Gear.